Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to do a follow-up on the situation with Drew Barrymore and the Hollywood strikes. Apparently, she's been bullied out of resuming her show. Now she said she made the decision herself that she's going to pause the show. She also made the decision before to resume the show, and she got a lot of backlash from her peers, her concerned peers, because she stepped out of line. Now, we're going to talk about her decision to resume filming the show, because it probably wasn't just her decision. There actually are contractual obligations that Variety points out. For daytime TV, they play by different rules than prime time. You know, we have a lot of people that are doing, primetime television, doing late night shows that are sitting it out, but Drew Barrymore may not have a chance. And I kind of wonder on some level, she's not going to cost her crew their jobs at this point, because she's not going to honor her contractual obligations to resume the show, even though other people have. But then the flip side of this, she's 100% Hollywood. I mean, this woman grew up in Hollywood. It's in her blood, and she has to deal with these people every day. You know, I mean, you've got all these people turning on her, constantly harassing her. It's not like she can, go home to her house in Montana or something and get the hell away from them and not have to think about them again, right? She's got to deal with these people all the time. So on some level, I'm kind of like, you know what? Sometimes it's easier just to give them what they want. I personally wouldn't. I would just be like, you know what? Nope. We're not doing it. And apparently you're not really my friend, and you don't know how I really think or how I really feel about things. But we've seen this time and time again with people that were Hollywood gold, and then they would step out of line, or they would vote the wrong way, or something. They'd do something, and all of a sudden they were ostracized. And again, we can't have a Barrymore ostracized from Hollywood, can we? That's not going to go over very well. So we're going to talk about this. This whole situation is just reached peak idiocy. And I think it's because everybody's freaking out. And I don't know if they're going to put this thing to bed before next year, this strike, because it sounds to me, at least from my perspective, it sounds to me like the writers are being absolutely ridiculous. Like they were given pretty much everything they wanted, except for the writers' room mandates that they had so many people on each show. And I don't think that's realistic. I just don't think it's realistic. If you can get it, I guess. I don't think it's going to make for any better TV. I think it's going to make for a lot fewer shows with a lot more cooks in the kitchen. And people are going to tune out anyway. But before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Go out to clownfishtv.com, CFTV, for more objective pop culture news and video game reviews and anime news and all that stuff. This is coming from Variety. Drew Barrymore halts talk show return after backlash will resume when strike ends. Yeah, they had some people picketing her show. They had some people that said they were just fans, and they just happened to get tickets to the show, and they just happened to be wearing pins going into the show, and they happened to get booted out. And oh my God, now they hate Drew Barrymore, and they just happened to rip their shirts off and put strike shirts on and start picketing. Yeah, that wasn't staged at all, I'm sure. So coming from Variety, Drew Barrymore isn't bringing back her daytime talk show, The Drew Barrymore Show, until the strike ends. After all, the decision comes a week after the actor was criticized, bullied. The word you're looking for is bullied and threatened. We'll throw threatened in there too, but definitely bullied, shamed, for saying the Drew Barrymore Show would premiere on September 18th in compliance with WGA guidelines. We're going to talk more about that because, again, I think she is contractually obligated to produce this show. So I don't know if she got an out because she is Drew Barrymore or what, but I'm wondering now if the show's existence might be put in jeopardy because she's not honoring those agreements. I've listened to everyone. I'm making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over, she wrote on Instagram. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone I have hurt, and of course, our incredible team who works on the show and has made it what it is today. We really tried to find our way forward, and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon. She tried, and she got bullied. And we're going to talk about some of the responses here. And people are like, you know, it's baffling that you did this in the first place, Drew. I can't believe somebody that grew up in Hollywood would dare go against the unions, Drew, if you know what's good for you. Barrymore faced swift blowback for her decision to resume taping her talk show despite Hollywood's ongoing labor strikes. As part of the fallout, National Book Awards rescinded Barrymore's invitation to host this upcoming annual award ceremony. Oh, piss off. As long as hosts or guests don't discuss or promote struck work, Barrymore, this is coming from Variety, industry publication Variety, as long as hosts or guests don't discuss or promote struck work, Barrymore wouldn't have been violating SAG-AFTRA's rules. The network code agreement allows daytime hosts to perform hosting duties. But Barrymore's show operates with union writers, so new episodes would have required the hiring of non-WGA writers or no one at all to script the show. I think she said she was coming back without writers, I think, or I don't know if she had scabs or not. I know Bill Maher's coming back without writers, and he says, look, show's not going to be as good probably, but I got below the line people that need to get paid, you know, and those are the people that are getting caught. That is my position here. It's like, you guys are turning down ridiculous amounts of money, and your below the line workers are probably getting like $20 an hour living in LA, but you're like, yeah, $10,000 a week. That's just not enough to live on in LA. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, the poor writers. At the time, the WGA condemned Barrymore's decision in a statement. Yeah, because if she went forward and everybody else went forward and it didn't affect the ratings at all, the studios would just look at that and be like, we don't even need writers. We don't even need writers. You know, fire up the chat bots, guys. That's what we're going to do. The WGA said Drew Barrymore should not be on the air while her writers are on strike fighting for a fair deal. In reality, shows like this cannot operate without writing. That is struck work. Actually, technically not, if she's not using the writers. The Jennifer Hudson Show and The Talk have also set plans to restart on Monday while the writers and actors remain on the picket lines. How come Jennifer Hudson's not getting harassed? How come The View? Again, The View. Why is The View not getting harassed? Why are they not being harassed off the air? Why are they not harassing Joy Behar? Why are they not harassing Whoopi Goldberg? Because Drew Barrymore showed remorse. And they knew she was weak. Not weak, but they knew they could get to her. They knew they could appeal to her emotional side, you know, because she doesn't seem like a very cold, calculating person to me. I think she wears her heart on her sleeve, maybe a little too much sometimes, but they knew they could get to her. You know, sometimes you just got to be an asshole. Sometimes you just got to be an asshole and be like, you know what? You're not going to bully me. But, you know, she has to live with those people. I don't. Other morning talk shows that have returned include Live with Kelly and Mark. Why aren't they harassing them? The Tamron Hall Show, neither of which have writers and are not covered by the WGA. Okay, so they don't have writers. Barrymore apologized in a now deleted video in which she said she owned the choice to bring back her show. I certainly couldn't have expected this kind of attention. I wanted to do this because, as I said, this is bigger than me and there are other people's jobs on the line. It's okay. The writers don't care about the below the line workers, because if they did, they would have taken the other deal. And now we're looking at possibly January. Now, this is interesting. This is also coming from Variety. And we're going to go out and look at some of these dumb comments here, but let's look at this first. They said they're allowed to. Here are all the other shows that are coming back. Sherry Shepherd. Is it Karamo? I don't watch these daytime shows. I'm too busy to watch daytime TV. Is it Karamo Brown? Karamo Brown? Tamron Hall, Live with Kelly and Mark. The View, which employs WGA writers, never ceased production during the strike. The View, which employs WGA writers, never ceased production during the strike. Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, how progressive of you. You know, The Talk and the Kelly Clarkson Show immediately halted last spring. So some of these shows have received some heat for returning, including picketing outside of The Talk and White House press secretary pulling out of an appearance on The View. citing respect for striking workers. Barrymore was the only host to attempt to get ahead of her return beforehand on social media. That was probably her mistake. She probably shouldn't have said anything about it because she put herself in the crosshairs, right? Now, this is interesting. Strangely, this wasn't part of Barrymore's attempt to explain her return. Syndicated, she should have said this. Syndicated TV shows have contractual obligations to deliver new episodes to their local station partners. Unlike network shows like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel Live, all the Jimmys, which have permanent real estate on a network schedule, nationally syndicated daytime talk shows like The Drew Barrymore Show are required, as part of the contract, are required to produce a certain amount of episodes to more than 200 local stations throughout each television season. In other words, this was a business decision and not one that Barrymore made alone. Hosts like Barrymore are under contract with major media production companies to perform their hosting duties, and like any regular job, they eventually have to show up to work. Syndicated talk shows are typically required to deliver 35 to 40 weeks of new episodes to their station partners. If they don't, they can lose their show. She probably didn't want her people to lose their jobs completely. Now, because she got bullied out of returning to her show, even though other people are still doing their shows, right? The View, that nobody's bothering them, right? Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, how progressive. Because of this, the people working on the Drew Barrymore Show might lose their jobs completely. But hey, at least the writers are getting what they wanted. We have 200 clients that we have to deliver original episodes to. It's not a network show, a daytime talk show employee says. With late night, you have one client, the network. Now, shows like Drew and Jennifer Hudson could have pushed back their premiere dates and reconstructed their yearly production schedules in the hopes that the strikes would soon come to an end. I don't think they're going to. With no end seemingly in sight in the current WGA and AMP-TIP impasse, local stations and advertisers are expecting original content this fall from shows for which they're paying a hefty license fee to carry. In theory, you could push it back if you're concerned about the strike. This is Frank, I am so bad with these names, Kicha, Executive Vice President of Programming for Fox Television, station group that carries many national syndicated talk shows, including Jennifer Hudson. But he adds, there are already more repeats than anybody needs, so the idea of your main talk show not coming back, that gets a little scary. Yeah, so they said more repeats are just a quicker death march for syndication. It's a critical time. If there's not a way to do original programming, then you can see the end of national syndication. Oh, but then right after this. But for the writers who feel they're on a death march, it's important to know that they're fighting for better wages and working conditions in a strike that has now surpassed 4 months. They were offered like over $10,000 a week, and they turned it down. And now these people, they're making like $20 an hour or whatever, below the line workers working on the Drew Barrymore show, they're probably out of a job. The show could get canceled. A lot of these shows could get canceled. But, make sure you get yours, right? You get yours. So let's look at some of these comments on her post where she said she'd listen to everyone. This is definitely the right choice on so many levels. You grew up in this industry. You know how important it is to stand in solidarity with the writers until the strike is over. You should have known better, Drew. Your show wouldn't have lasted long if you went forward with the premiere. This is surely the best way to go about what's best for the writers and all the people in the industry going forward. Strength in numbers. We're going to bully the shit out of you, Drew Barrymore. Good job, Drew. They're talking about how the late night hosts have a admittedly awful podcast. Okay. It was a baffling misstep, but I'm happy you were able to come to a different decision. We shouldn't be defined by the mistakes we make, but how we move forward from them. Again, you tell it to all the people that could potentially lose their jobs that she made a mistake. And I'm not saying she should or shouldn't do what she thinks she needs to do. And she is the one that ultimately has to deal with these people on a daily basis. And it's hard being harassed on a daily basis. And I'm just some guy in Pittsburgh that I don't have a dog in this fight. But it's pretty disgusting to see people bullied out of doing what I think is best for their other people who aren't on strike getting bullied because they're afraid their peers are going to harass them endlessly. And they will. I mean, they will. You know what's going to happen. They would shun her. She wouldn't get invited to parties. She wouldn't be involved in anything. She'd probably never act again. They'd be like, well, we remember you scab Drew Barrymore. We remember you. We thought you were Hollywood. You're just a scab. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm nothing more than a regular person who loves your show and the people it brings to my life, and I know other people love it too. People forget we, the regular consumers, are the ones losing out the most because of all this. I was excited to have new Drew shows. I think it's sad how Drew was bullied so ugly, is that a word? Into a corner. Drew, you're the best. I can't wait to see the new season. I'm not sure about that. This is in the news every day. I don't think it was a black and white issue, but I'm glad Drew came to this decision after weighing all factors, because God forbid the writers get pissed off at her. People are so selfish. It's insane. We're the ones losing out the most. Thousands of people on the brink of losing everything disagree. Consumers have so much content to watch. The workers are the ones suffering in order to get fair wages. The studios are the problem. Please gain some perspective. Yeah, all the below the line workers are probably going to be out of effing work and they're probably going to lose their houses. But hey, congratulations. Congratulations. We now have more writers to screw in a light bulb, than we need on a Netflix show with, 8 episodes. I know you're trying to take care of your other employees, but I think this is the right move. Ask the other employees. Would somebody ask the other employees on the Drew Barrymore show if this is the right move? Because they're not striking. They don't have a dog in this, and they're not getting paid nearly what the writers are. Ask them. Ask their families. Ask their spouses if this was the right decision. Because, again, she has a contractual obligation to produce the show, and if she doesn't, they could cancel the show. And that could be it for everybody. That's what's so... I mean, you want to talk about selfish. I would be like, look at all the factors and be like, you know what? She's got to do what she's got to do. If the strike is really about the little guy, why in the hell are you punishing the little guy when they are allowed to continue to work? If it were me, I'd be like, I'm striking for my deal, right? But these other people, they shouldn't be caught up in this net. They shouldn't be, because of my decision, because I'm not happy with my situation and I want to change it. Joe Blow over here, who's running the cameras, he shouldn't be out of a job. Sally the caterer should not be out of a job. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Sally's running the cameras, maybe Joe's catering. I don't want to assume. I'm just saying they shouldn't be out of work now because I'm not happy with my $9,000 to $14,000 a week or whatever fucking amount of money these people are getting. So I would like the WGA to send a letter, a personal letter to all of Drew's staff on behalf of the WGA, thanking them for sacrificing their jobs for their cause. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.